The topic for the session is management of discolored teeth. On behalf of Anu Dental College and head of the Department of Conservative Dentistry, I welcome you all to this session. What is discoloration? When do you call a tooth as discolored? You call a tooth as discolored when there is a change in the hue, that is, the actual color of the tooth, and when there is a change in the translucency of the tooth. There are multiple reasons for the discoloration. This could be due to pulpal hemorrhage. This could be due to various restorative materials. It could be due to drugs like tetracycline and pulp necrosis. They are very common with discolored teeth seen in a non-vital tooth. Tooth discoloration can be broadly classified as extrinsic discoloration and intrinsic discoloration. It is essential to determine the cause of the discoloration prior to the treatment because the management of an extrinsic discoloration is not the same as that of an intrinsic discoloration. There are various reasons for extrinsic discoloration. This could be due to tobacco chewing, cigarettes, aerated rings that are discolored, okay? And the management of extrinsic discoloration is simple and it can be managed very easily by a routine oral prophylaxis. Moving on to intrinsic discoloration, you call it as an intrinsic discoloration when there are changes in the structural composition of the tooth. So there are certain materials, there are components which interact with the tooth material as it is to cause the discoloration. There are many reasons for it. Fluoride is one reason. Drugs like tetracycline is another reason. And non-vital teeth is another reason. Moving on to internalized discoloration. This is slightly different from an internal discoloration. This internalized discoloration occurs due to incorporation of extrinsic stains within the tooth structure. If you look into this slide, you can see a bluish or a black tint onto the teeth. There is an old amalgam filling in this tooth, and as they age, as the amalgam olds, these corrosion products, they enter the dentinal tubules, and enamel being a translucent material, the color shows off. So this is what we call it as an internalized discoloration. There are different treatment options for extrinsic discoloration. So that could be in the form of simple oral prophylaxis to enamel microabrasion to external whitening. The first and foremost important thing for the management of extrinsic stain is a change in the addictive behavior. You have to inform the patient to stop the habit, whether it being a cigarette or tobacco chewing. The first and foremost is stop the habit. Next is oral prophylaxis. Then we can go in for abrasion procedures like air abrasion, ultrasonics, and sonics. You can go in for enamel microabrasion, wherein the superficial layer of discolored enamel is removed, and we can do external whitening. Whereas for intrinsic stains, all these procedure doesn't work. We have to go in for either bleaching, that is, we lighten the color of the tooth. We have to go in for microabrasion or a macroabrasion technique. Then we can go in for direct composite restoration, veneers, which could be either from a processed composite or from a ceramic, and crowns, a little extensive because you have to prepare the entire tooth to cover the discoloration. So the treatment option, the treatment planning depends on the severity of the discoloration. The most mildest form is the bleaching, and the most extensive form is the crown. So today's session, we will deal with bleaching, the different types of bleaching, how to go about it. So moving on to the definition for bleaching, it is nothing but lightening of the color of a tooth through the application of a chemical agent to oxidize the organic pigmentation in the tooth. So that is, there is some chemical agent which is actually going to penetrate through your enamel into the dentine, lighten the color and cause whitening. So I repeat again the definition. It is nothing but lightening of the color of a tooth through the application of a chemical agent to oxidize the organic pigmentation in the tooth. Bleaching can be broadly classified into vital bleaching and non-vital bleaching. That is, vital bleaching, you do it on a vital teeth. Non-vital, you do it in a root canal treated teeth. Again, vital bleaching can be of two types. It can be an in-office bleaching technique where the bleaching procedure is done in the dental office. Home applied technique is done where you give the bleaching agent to the patient and ask him or her to use it at home depending on the discoloration. Non-vital bleaching again is of two types. One is in-office bleaching, also called as thermocatalytic technique, and there is something called as a walking bleach technique. So first we will see what are the different bleaching agents used. First, most common is a hydrogen peroxide. So what does a hydrogen peroxide do? At a pH of 10, it decomposes into nascent oxygen, okay, which is actually going to cause the bleaching action. Next is a carbamide peroxide. This carbamide peroxide comes along with carbapol. The carbamide peroxide again splits into hydrogen peroxide and urea. And the role of carbapol in a carbamide peroxide containing reagent is to slow the release of hydrogen peroxide. And the third bleaching agent is a sodium perborate. So basically you have three bleaching agents. Can be hydrogen peroxide, it can be carbamide peroxide or a sodium perborate. How does a hydrogen peroxide act? This hydrogen peroxide at an appropriate pH or when it is activated, it produces perhydroxyl and oxygen-free radicals. We also call it as nascent oxygen. This is highly reactive and this is the one which is going to penetrate through the enamel into the dentine to cause lightening of the color. Carbamide peroxide, again, it splits into hydrogen peroxide and urea. It is again the hydrogen peroxide which on activation releases nascent oxygen to cause whitening of the tooth. So what does a bleaching agent actually do? This bleaching agent converts the saturated ring compounds into unsaturated linear hydrocarbons. So during this conversion, the dark pigments are lightened. So when it is lightened, the tooth gets whitened. I'll repeat again, it is nothing but conversion of the saturated ring compounds into unsaturated linear hydrocarbons, thereby causing lightening of the color. First, we will see what is a in-office bleaching technique, otherwise called as a thermocatalytic technique. So this is done in a non-vital teeth. This is an in-office technique. So in a non-vital teeth, the tooth will be root canal treated and you have the obturating material in the root canal. And then you have your empty pulp chamber. So it is into this pulp chamber we place this 35% hydrogen peroxide, okay? And this hydrogen peroxide is activated by a heated instrument which is placed on the labial aspect of the teeth to accelerate the oxidation process. So when you do this procedure, there are chances this nascent oxygen can penetrate through the obturating material. To avoid this, you have to seal the obturating material with a sealing cement. This sealing cement can be a polycarboxylate cement or a litho-glassinomer cement. This is placed over the exposed root canal filling before the application of the bleaching agent to prevent leakage of the bleaching material into the apical direction. So here in thermocatalytic technique, from the name itself, you can understand it is the heat which is going to activate the hydrogen peroxide to release the nascent oxygen. Next is a walking bleach technique. So from the name, it says the patient walks with a bleaching agent in the mouth from the clinic, and you have to review the patient to see whether the color has lightened or not. The first step here is you have to clear the occlusal contact on the area of the root canal access opening. This is done to prevent any high points after the restoration. Next, isolate the tooth with a rubber dam, and the obturating material has to be removed 2 mm apical to the clinical crown. That space is given for the sealing material. That is, you seal the filling material with a light cure glass ionomer or cement liner. So once that sealing is done and the cement sets, for walking bleach technique, the bleaching agent used is sodium perborate. So I told in the first slide, there are 3 bleaching agents. It can be hydrogen peroxide, it can be carbamide peroxide, it can be sodium perborate. So this sodium perborate is mixed with saline under heavy pressure into a creamy paste. And this is carried with a plastic instrument, and the pulp chamber is filled with the bleaching mixture to within 2 mm of the KO surface margin. So once this is done, you have to wait for a few seconds for the effervescence to stop, because the sodium perborate again contains hydrogen peroxide. So the moment the sodium perborate is mixed with saline, these effervescence come, and after placing the mixture into the pulp chamber, wait for a few seconds for the effervescence to stop. And then seal the access opening with the sealing material, which can be an intermediate restorative material, or it can be a glass ionomer cement. And this mixture has to be changed frequently till you are satisfied with the tooth lightening. Once you are happy with the tooth lightening, the pulp chamber has to be cleaned. So there can be remnants of hydrogen peroxide in the chamber, okay, and this can cause damage to the tooth. So to neutralize the effect of the hydrogen peroxide, we place a mixture of calcium hydroxide and saline for a period of 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, the pulp chamber is again cleaned and restored with light cure composite permanent restoration. So this is a picture of how a walking bleach technique is done. So as you see in this picture, what you see here is a obturating material. This is sealed with a sealing cement. And the function of a sealing cement is to prevent apical penetration of the bleaching agent, and also to prevent the entry into the dentinal tubules, especially onto the cemento-enamel junction area, because these nascent oxygen, that is the hydrogen peroxide which contains a nascent oxygen, can cause tooth resorption. Okay. So to prevent that entry, you have to seal the DE, cemento enamel junction. So this is where you place the bleaching paste, and then later you seal the access cavity with the sealing cement. This is with regard to a walking bleach technique. This is a picture of a tooth before bleaching, and this is how a tooth looks after bleaching. Next, we will see what is a vital bleaching. The indications are aging. As age advances, the tooth can darken, and for trauma-related teeth, fluorosis and drug-induced staining, for example, like tetracyclic staining. First, we will see what is in-office vital bleaching. From the name, we know that it is a procedure, the bleaching technique is done in the dental clinic. What is the advantage of doing the bleaching procedure in office? It is under the control of the dentist. You can protect the soft tissue better, because all these reagents contain nothing but hydrogen peroxide, and the effect is more rapid. The disadvantage is the cost. It is little more expensive and unknown duration. Sometimes a chair time can be more. Sometimes it can be 30 minutes, it can go up to 1 hour. So increased chair time is one disadvantage with an in-office vital bleaching technique. So here also we use a hydrogen peroxide containing bleaching agent. All these commercially available bleaching agent contains only hydrogen peroxide. This is applied onto the teeth. The gums are protected with a gel, and sometimes you use a rubber shield to protect the rest of the mouth. And this hydrogen peroxide here, we cannot use heat because the tooth is vital. So here it is activated by means of a special light which is available, or we can use laser light to activate the hydrogen peroxide. So once after the treatment, the teeth is rinsed and the rubber dam is removed. The total time is 30 to 45 minutes, and this again depends on the discoloration. So weekly you can go in for 2 to 6 treatments depending on the patient's need. What are the pros of an in-office technique? The procedure takes only 30 to 45 minutes. You get a visible teeth, visibly whiter teeth, and the results can last up to an year. If you can avoid all these staining items like coffee, tea, cigarettes, tobacco, and things like that. Because while all bleaching procedure, it is not a lifelong. It might last for 1 year, 2 years, depending on how you maintain your oral hygiene. Disadvantages are, if you don't avoid your staining items, the results can fade within a month. And all these bleaching agents, since they contain nascent oxygen, it is going to penetrate into the dentine. In the dentinal tubules, we have the nerve fibers. So there are chances for tooth sensitivity. So the patient has to be informed about the sensitivity of the tooth. And many of these commercially available bleaching agents come with desensitizing agents along with the bleaching agents. And the cost. That since the chair time is longer, it is going to work out little more expensive than the home technique. Moving on to the home applied vital bleaching technique. The advantages, it requires less office time. Disadvantages, it requires a patient cooperation. Unless or otherwise patient is regular in using it, there is no change. The first step in home applied technique is we have to prepare something called as a night guard. A night guard is something which is going to carry the bleaching agent into the patient's mouth. So how do we do it? The first step is you have to take an alginate impression of the arch and a stone cast is poured. So once the cast is poured, a night guard is formed on the cast using a vacuum formed machine. For preparing the night guard, we use a soft vinyl night guard material. So this is inserted into the heating machine, heated for about 10 minutes. So when you heat it, this material softens, and this softened material is adapted over the cast under vacuum. So you get what is called as a horseshoe shaped night guard. So that is going to cover the facial and the lingual surface of the teeth. This facial and the lingual surface are scalloped with a sharp curved scissors so that you get the contour of the gingival margin. And once this is done, you have to check the fit of the night guard in the patient's mouth and allow for optimal tooth contact in maximal intercuspation, because we don't want any TM joint issues at the end of the bleaching treatment. So this is how it is done. First you prepare a tray, and the next, normally what we do is we use a block out resin and over the areas where we want the bleaching agent to be. So this is the block out resin. And this is, and we don't want this bleaching agent to go into the gingiva because this is going to damage your gingiva. So this is the machine which is used to soften the vinyl material, and this is the picture of the model onto the machine. So this is how it is once you adapt the sheet onto the cast, and the final bleaching tray will be something like this. So you have a contour gingival margin, okay, and it is into this space we are going to place the bleaching agent. Moving on to the procedure, for this we use 10 to 15% carbamide peroxide bleaching material. This carbamide peroxide again degrades into 3% hydrogen peroxide and 7% urea. We have to note here that though we use hydrogen peroxide for non-vital teeth also, the percentage of hydrogen peroxide for a non-vital teeth is up to around 35%, whereas for a vital teeth, we don't want such a high percentage. This bleaching material is placed on the facial aspect of the night guard material to the area of the tooth to be bleached. That is why we have placed that block-out resin. And then you ask the patient to insert into the mouth. And all the excess material has to be wiped with a soft bristled toothbrush. And the following instructions have to be given to the patient. Strictly instruct them not to drink liquids or eat anything with the night guard in place. And once after the use, this night guard has to be cleaned in water with a toothbrush and stored in a container. The total treatment time is 1 to 2 weeks if worn at night only, or if the patient is willing, he can wear it for both 6 hours, that is 6 hours in the morning and 6 hours in the evening, so that the duration is less. The patient is advised to discontinue the treatment in case of sensitivity or gingival irritation. And always when we do a home applied technique for vital teeth, bleaching is restricted to 1 arch at a time to avoid occlusal problems. That is, first finish the maxillary arch and then move on to the mandibular arch. So this is for interest sake. We have over-the-counter whitening strips available. Okay, these are trayless delivery system. Okay, basically you just have to apply it over the teeth. Okay, and the advantages are it is easy to use, it is inexpensive, it is over the counter, and it can be used for tetracycline staining. And they say that it has got a long-lasting result. So this is how the strips are available. Okay, again, all these contain only hydrogen peroxide. The strips are worn 30 minutes twice daily for 14 days. So thank you.